Dr. Torero, what exactly happens when traders speculate on food prices?
Let me first clarify, it's very complex to talk about the speculation and the causal link of speculation with volatility. Speculation happens every day, and that not necessarily means that it will create problems in the prices. Speculation is good because it provides liquidity. The problem is when you have excessive speculation or excessive liquidity in the market. So let's forget about the word speculation, let's focus more on the excessive liquidity. And what is happening basically is that there is a significant movement of non-commercial funds to the futures market. And that movement is increasing the velocity at which people are trading without physical movement of grains or physical goods. So the increase has been around 2,300% in the last years, and this creates an overheating of the market. Now, what is the problem is that only 2% of those transactions get physically realized, which means that you are creating an increase in velocity, and that could put more pressure if the price is going up and increasing an overheat of the market. And that could be explaining why prices spike, and also why prices are volatile, because the advantage that you have in the future market is that you can go in and out as how profitable it is. So that capacity of going in and out in the short term also put pressure over volatility.
It cannot be said that speculation causes food price volatility.
No, we did some tests in the 2007 and 2008, especially January, February, and March, and in those periods of those months, we were able to find some indicators that allow us to tell that there was excessive speculation. There we could do some tests of causality and so on. Today, we don't find that, but we find a significant increase in the volume of the market. And that increase in the volume of the future markets is like a central bank. If you increase the velocity of circulation, the inflation goes up. It's something similar. So you have a lot of transactions going in a market, which don't necessarily mean that you are moving commodity, and that overheats markets. But to argue that is because somebody is speculating is a complex issue. And up to now, in difference to what we saw in 2008 beginning, we are not able to argue that there is a causal link with excessive speculation indicators.
What is the impact of food price volatility on smallholder farmers?
It's very important, because what volatility does, it reduces the capacity of farmers to make optimal decisions. And if the farmers don't know when to invest in certain commodities, when to invest in inputs, how much to invest, then that could create significant costs. In the case of small farmers, these are budget-constrained farmers. They don't have too much access to credit. So for them, a decision of investment could be terminal, in the sense that if they cannot recover their investment, they could be out of the market. So if they don't know what will be the price tomorrow, because the prices are moving up and down, that creates significant inefficiency in how they can assign the resources, and that could affect them on one side. And on the other side, it also affects significantly the prices of inputs, because inputs are highly concentrated. So when the market when you have spikes in prices, the input prices also increase, and they are more sticky to go down, and that will create effects over the cost of farmers.
What is the link between food price volatility and the need for social safety nets?
So normally you have two events that are happening. One is price spikes, okay, and we know that clearly transmits to consumers, especially to net consumers, because if the price increases and I am not a producer, I am not benefiting at all from the increase in price. The second issue is that volatility not only affects producers, but by affecting the income that the small producers will get, that will automatically affect their consumption capacity. So indirectly, it's also affecting consumers as prices spikes. The reason of proposing safety nets is to find a way in which you can target to the most vulnerable, which are the ones that you want to avoid going into problems of extreme low calorie intake, because that could end in problems of nutrition. And we know that could have serious effects, especially in children, in the first 18 months, and pregnant women. So safety nets, if are properly developed, they will help them to minimize and to reduce the vulnerability they are facing because of these exogenous events that are not under their control.
What would an ambitious climate agreement in Durban mean for global food price stability?
Yeah. So let me first explain why it's important for volatility. The problem we have right now in the staple commodity market is a very highly concentrated market. So few countries control most of the exports of the world. So any change or any exogenous shock that affect them will automatically have an effect over prices and volatility. Climate change could affect the weather in those countries that are top exporters. And given that you have a very restricted portfolio, very few of them, any climate shock or any variability in climate could create significant effects over prices. And that's how the transmission is happening. So any potential agreement that you get in Durban could have an effect, but for sure this is long term, so it's not a short-term issue. So it won't resolve the short-term problem. It's more a long-term problem that you can resolve. But right now, the level of concentration of the commodities are very vulnerable to changes in climate.